Careful.
I started the recording. Is that too early?
And we're live on Facebook?
No.
We do not have somebody to operate Facebook. The administrator does not trust staff to do that without screwing it up because we're old.
But that was recorded.
Reasonable.
We got
That
that.
was recorded.
I don't
All right.
care.
Fair enough.
Did I
I
lie?
just love the way you looked at him.
What, 3 inches?
He's old.
That's here. They're from.
Hey, by the way, if you hear from anybody from the Historical Society or whatever, boy, that school looks amazing.
It does.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
Really
amazing.
shaping up.
All right. We have 6 o'clock. I have 6 o'clock. So let's get started. So welcome, everybody. This evening's meeting, this is the Suamico Village Board meeting for Monday, December 19th, 2022. The time is 6 p.m. At this time, we do have a quorum, and I would like to call this meeting to order. Just as a reminder, anybody speaking into the microphones, please speak directly for recording purposes. At this time, I would look for a motion to approve the agenda.
What? Seconded?
I have a motion to approve the agenda by trustee Schneider and a second by trustee Romas. Are there any other questions or discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Ladies and gentlemen, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Proceeding like a brisk north wind, we are on item number 5, public appearances. Anybody in the audience who would like to come forward and speak on anything that is not on the agenda, please come forward, provide your name and address, and we'd like to hear what you have to say. Okay. It appears we have no one to speak on public appearances. Let's move forward. Item number 6, consent agenda. Item A, previous minutes of the village board dated 12/5/2022. Item B, 2023 calendar of meetings. Item C, November 2022 municipal court report. Item D, October 2022 animal control report. Item E, November 2022 recreation report. And item F, November 2022 fire department report. Is there discussion or questions on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve by trustee Eckert, and we have a second by trustee Schneider. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right. Item number 7, Recreation Department items. Resolution 22033, authorizing the acceptance of a $6,000 Green Bay Packers Foundation grant. Director Lemke, if you would.
Thank you. We applied for a grant through the Green Bay Packers Foundation, and pleased to announce that we were awarded a grant amount of $6,000 to be used towards the resurfacing of the Calavera tennis courts. Action requested is to accept resolution 22033.
Thank you. Are there questions for Director Lemke?
I think it's great. $6,000.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this? Do we have any guests?
We don't, no.
Thank you. Any other questions for Director Lemke? If there are no other questions or no other comments,
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 22033, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of $6,000 in grant funding from the Green Bay Packers Foundation.
I seconded, but on the third paragraph,
good
just being
catch.
nitpicky, but
No, that's pretty important.
it stuck out. The 6,00.
Oh.
We need another 0.
Oh, yeah, down there.
Otherwise,
I'll get that fixed before we leave.
yeah, 600. $6.
So who originally made the motion to?
I did.
So there is a motion to approve Resolution 22033 by trustee Andrews, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of $6,000 in grant funding from the Green Bay Packers Foundation. And we have a second by trustee Eckert, provided the correction in paragraph 3 is made, making 6,00 into legitimate $6,000. Is there any other comments from anybody else on the board? Questions? All right, all those in favor, we need a roll call on this, please.
Andrews,
Aye.
Eckert,
Aye.
Romus,
Aye.
Schneider, Ben Rossum.
Aye,
Motion carries 7-0.
5-0.
I'm sorry, 5-0. Thank you.
New math.
We're too short,
Yeah.
we're too short of a full house this evening. Okay, thank you. The long-awaited and much-anticipated item number 8, fire department items. By the way, just pointing out, items is also misspelt. Not that that's an issue.
In
The agenda.
Item number 8,
our,
yes,
okay, thank you.
almost fooled me. Item number 8, A, usage of Wisconsin Department of Health Services grant. Chief Bertler, if you would.
Yep, so back in September, the fire department was awarded EMS Flex Grant for the amount of $51,000. It was decided to kind of put it towards the budget in 2023 as kind of a budget neutral adjustment. However, realizing that we may be a bit over on the paid and call wages, I know there's a discussion at the time we received the grant about, possibly pay increase. With that being said, we would like to use the funds that were originally maybe designed for 2023. They haven't been spent anything. Some of those wages, for the overages and wages in 2022, to use those funds to offset any overage that we'd have in 2022 for the wages.
So one question is, the budget going forward for 2023, has that been looked at based on where we're at with 2024 to make sure that we're not going to be in this position?
It did increase by about 9,000. We're probably in the range about 10,000 over. I don't have exact estimates from Jessica. I think she could probably tell me that. She'd probably know what those numbers are today, but that's probably what it is. So it was adjusted like 9,000 or 10,000 next year.
Okay.
So we just want to use some of those funds to offset the cost this year.
And Jessica thinks that's fine.
Yep, so Alex had kind of proposed the idea, and then Jessica just needed a motion because it was originally set to be used in 2023. We were going to spend those funds, some of those funds would be used in 2022 instead. So if I remember budget day, there was kind of $51,000 added to 2023. We're looking to use some of those funds for 2022 instead.
Okay.
And it can be split between 2022 and 2023. We just, at that time, didn't see the need, but looking that we might be over on the wages, figured it'd be best to offset those wages with that grant. So we're just looking for a motion to direct funds from resolution 22024 to offset paid and call wages in 2022.
I mean, what does that mean then going forward after 23?
So obviously, we didn't know this is the first full year that we were running EMS. Obviously, so it was adjusted in the wages this year to increase it by, I think, 9,000 or 10,000. And we will have a little funds left from those wages. I mean, we're not going to spend $51,000. But obviously, we need to do a better job of accounting for those wages and making sure that we're, spending frugally, I guess so.
And, yeah, because that's a concern, because we
Correct.
may not get this again.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
So going forward, there may not be that, but, okay.
Correct, yep.
So a lot of this is actually firefighters paid on call going out with EMS?
I would say a lot of the funds are just overage in call. We've had a lot of calls this year. I think we're going to run over 550 calls. Been a lot of fires, not so much in Suamico, but surrounding areas where, we're on scene for 7 to 8 hours.
Okay.
Just increase in call volume. And that varies from year to year. I mean, I think if you look in years past as wages, it's sometimes been over, sometimes been under. It really varies on call volume
Okay.
and training. And we've had a lot of newer firefighters, so it really varies from year to year. But we felt it was best to use those dollars to kind of offset those costs. Like I said, probably projecting around 9 or 10,000, which, but I think it, you know, we want to try to offset the budget as much as we can this year. Obviously, another example, like last time we met was fuel that increased, you know, where, you know, fuel prices haven't really gone down much, but gasoline has. It's just one of those things that you don't go on a lot of calls, you don't spend a lot of fuel. More calls you go on, more fuel and wages you're gonna spend.
When we go on a call that's in a surrounding area, are we reimbursed fully?
We're not reimbursed at all.
Not at all, okay. So like, but when we went up to Marinette to help,
That one we were, because it was different, it was
Okay.
out of state.
so we have
Emergency
agreement.
management thing, and correct, we'll be getting that back, like I said, so I don't know the final total, so I can't give you exact dollar amount on this. But it would be whatever number we're over to use those funds to cover that.
We have mutual aid agreements in place with
Correct.
surrounding municipalities.
Yep. Yeah, so Michigan was a little different story. We did bill them about $2,700. I'm not sure if we received that yet. I don't think we have yet.
That's clear. Thank you.
And there's some other, you know, grant and stuff like that needs to come in yet, so we won't know the final number until later on.
Can you remind me, what was the total amount of this grant again?
The total grant was $51,000.
That's right.
Wages was approved for 21,000, I think.
Okay. So there's $20,000 balance there that you're looking to use.
Correct. And like I said, it may be maybe 9,000, maybe 10,000. I'm not sure how much we'd be over this year yet, without Jessica being here for the exact numbers, so.
Okay. Could you just make a note when Jessica has that? Could we
Yep.
get that number?
Will do.
So, okay.
If there's no other discussion, I'll make a motion to direct funds from Resolution 22024 to offset paid on-call wages in 2022.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor by trustee Andrews and a second by trustee Schneider to direct funds from Resolution 22024 to offset paid on-call wages in 2022, with a balance to be reported by fiscal once completed. And is there any further discussion or questions on this? If there are none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now, this wasn't necessarily a roll call because we weren't approving a specific number. It's just the move of funds. Okay,
Okay.
just making sure. All right. Item 8B, discussion on replacement of fire engine 1211.
Come join me, Chris.
And we have a guest.
Oh, yeah. All right. Can you hear us okay?
I can. Share with us your names and where you live for the record, please.
All right, I think you know who I am.
I know who you are, but the folks on the recording might
Oh,
not.
sorry, Joe Bertler, 2255 Mount Olive Drive.
Thank you.
Chris Kapersik, I'm the Assistant Chief, 2706 Somerset.
Gentlemen, good evening.
All right, so I hope you're all aware that engine 1211, one of our fire trucks down at Station 1, is due for replacement in 2025. Scheduled to be replaced in 2025. So we started the process because it usually takes about a year of planning to kind of, you know, decide on the truck you want and the manufacturer and all those intricacies. But so we started a truck committee back in February or March this year. Steve, you want to go to the next slide there? So engine 1211 will be 20 years old in 2025. It's the oldest truck in our fleet besides a brush truck that's been around kind of forever. It is I guess the main truck that's used at Station 1. So it's that first one pictured there. And just to kind of give you a little history, the truck schedule or the replacement schedule was on a 15-year replacement schedule. Back, I know it was during Doug's tenure here, but it was changed to a 20-year schedule instead. So kind of give you a little history. It's like I said, the schedule was changed from 15 years to 20 years. So, and why we change, why the need for replacement is trucks are built to a standard NFPA 1901, which states usually it should be about 15 years old and then stay in reserve for about another 5 years. So 20 years is kind of the max, I guess, what you'd say, life expectancy of a of a truck. And how that kind of plays in is, I mean, there's a lot of factors, but your insurance that you pay for your homeowner's insurance is actually kind of based off a number of things. It's how many fire stations you have, how many full-time firefighters you have, how old your trucks are, nearest hydrants. Those are all factors that play into the amount of insurance you pay for homeowner's insurance. So it's not a, say, a code per se, as far as a state law that you have to replace it, but if you don't replace them in a certain time, it does affect your insurance rating. So when we get audited by the insurance industry, having older trucks would actually hurt your insurance. So that's why typically on a schedule, you have a replacement schedule of 15 to 20 years. And it kind of says about by the age of 20 years, they're kind of should be replaced at that time. And just to kind of give you a little dollar amount, we spent about $4,500 in repairs on engine 1211 this year. So it is costing us money to maintain. I know some of those were new tires, but
Yeah, it's costing us more money to maintain. We've had more, we're starting to have some electrical gremlins with it. And as you know, on your vehicle, you start having that, it can go bad. So we've been chasing those down for the last several months. And it's just that, it's just getting old. There's water getting into compartments that shouldn't have water in them in
Who's the manufacturer?
20 years.
what's
It
that?
was a Marion.
Marion?
Yep.
Yep, it was Marion.
So we bought this truck as a spec unit, so this was their demo unit that we bought from them in 2005.
So just kind of give you a little background, we started in February, March, met with 3 manufacturers. One of them is here today, just kind of give a little background as far as lead times. Now, those lead times are a little deceiving because although Pierce is here tonight, they can get down to probably 2 years for lead time. Now, remember this is to be replaced in 2025, and it's, when you're, just like anything, based on age, you'd rather get it in the beginning of 2025 because you get it towards the end of 25, it's still a 2025 year truck, and you get just less life out of it. You want a replacement schedule on it. So trying to get it sooner in 2025 than later in 2025. Marion, we've met with Marion as well. We have a difficult time, have had a difficult time getting drawings back and specs back from them. I believe it's probably just from the industry, lack of manpower, lack of people able to do this stuff. So they gave me a lead time of 17 to 18 months. It's probably more about 2 years. They always want to try to get it, make it seem like they're a little better than everybody else. But then Seagrave, once again, I haven't heard back from them either. And last time they gave me a lead time, it was at 20 months. So still looking around, probably close to 2 years, all said and done by the time we'd want to order this. So the next slide. So this is kind of something, you can skip through this one in about 2 seconds. Some of the meetings we've had, some of the tours we've done with Pierce, Marion, and Seagrave. You can go to the next slide, Steve. And then, like I said, so we haven't just met once or twice. It's been, probably close to 20 times that we've actually met or done a tour. And next slide. So kind of where we go from here, we're not looking for any decision tonight. We would probably like, we said that we'd like to take delivery in 2025, and I've talked to Jessica and Alex on both this, and looking to have obviously board approval, but looking to go out, let's say, for bid or request for proposals and get probably an order in February, March of 2023, knowing that a lead time of 2 years still will get us probably mid-2025 before we get this truck. And they said this is due for replacement in 2025. And then obviously you need to decide on the financing terms. We can pre-play, and I'll let Dan kind of get more into that. Pre-play pay, can't talk, have a discount on that. You can pay for sometimes half of the truck or pay at the end of the, when you get the truck as well. So with that being said, is there any questions? Like I said, we're not looking for decisions tonight, but probably make a presentation in January, kind of give you an update, and then looking to possibly, sign on a dotted line maybe in February. Knowing that, like I said, a lead time of 2 to 3 years is.
What's the cost between the 3 manufacturers?
So we don't have that back yet. That's why we can't make a decision even tonight. I couldn't even guess. to be honest. And Dan will speak to this. The truck that we kind of spec'd out with him was about, before COVID or 2 years ago, was about $640,000. You're looking at 830, 840 right now, just in less, probably a year and a half, 2 years. Is that correct? Which is, I mean, just,
Good business. Good business to be in.
so I'll let Dan do a little talking. This is Dan from Pierce. I'll let him introduce himself and kind of just give you a little background. Like I said, this is just one of the manufacturers. I brought him. He was willing to come in. He's been kind of the most receptive as far as, customer service. This is by no means that we're going to go with him. I just kind of let him talk about the lead times and price increases that's industry-wide. We've had the same conversations with the different manufacturers as well, so.
Before you go, can I ask you one quick
Yep.
question? So I know Pierce is located in Wisconsin,
Correct.
which is
Wisconsin.
in Wisconsin. Okay, so the other two, though, where are they located? Also in
They are both in Wisconsin.
Okay,
Yep.
all right,
Actually, kind of almost neighbors of each other in Marion, so. Yep.
okay.
So we wanted a local one so we could, the reason why you like a local manufacturer is so you can visit the manufacturing plant, kind of check, just like we did in the building. You can, at the new fire station, you can kind of give, biweekly or monthly visits to make
Yeah.
sure
I get it.
what you're paying for is what you get.
I just wanted to make sure that we were looking at local firms, so.
Yep.
And I didn't know the other two.
Yep.
So you're looking for no motion? this-
No motion tonight. I'm just going to have Dan talk a little bit on kind of financing options that probably all three manufacturers will be able to provide, but then just the price increase and where things have kind of gone industry-wide, so. But yeah, no motion tonight. Just a more informative presentation.
Where are the funds for this? Are these coming out of?
So the equipment replacement funds, yep.
Okay,
It has been budgeted for, like I said, for a while, so.
it's been on there for a
Funds
while.
are in there,
This is the big expense.
correct, yep. And we'll try getting him down, don't worry. I told him I don't go down easy, so. That being said, I'll let Dan kind of come up here.
Welcome.
Welcome, thank you. My name is Dan Schultz. I'm with a company called Fire Apparatus and Equipment. We're the dealer for Pierce Fire Apparatus, Pierce Manufacturing here in northern Wisconsin. So we cover 2/3 of the state of Wisconsin. Of course, Pierce, you all see driving by Appleton. We're the largest manufacturer in North America of fire trucks. We're building, about 3,000 trucks a year right now. So we're definitely in the business for the long haul. Of course, our parent company is Oshkosh Corp. So we are a Fortune 500 company. So one of the only ones out of the three that he's talking about. So I do have a handout that I can give you. It does have our pricing on it. And without being an RFP, I don't know if you want it or not.
I think I would wait. I mean, if you guys want
I'd like
a
to.
copy. But
Sorry. We can wait.
You can just wait. It's probably best to wait then.
Okay. And the only reason I was going to hand it out is I was just going to go over the pricing options that we would normally do on our pricing sheets here. But I can just talk verbally about them. But we have a lot of different ways that we can do pricing. So right now, our delivery times on the truck that we've been talking up to this point, we can do it in about 22 to 24-month delivery time, so just under a year or under a 2-year term. Our normal lead time on this is about 37 to 39 months. So because of the way that this truck is built, the fire department's not looking for anything crazy, special, that's odd. We can do it through what's called an accelerated build for us, and right now that accelerated build is at 22 to 24 months. The only advantage to going to a longer delivery time is, of course, if you're trying to work on a later year budgeted payment, or if you want a larger prepay, you have all the money and you want to prepay the 100% down, we give you a larger prepay amount. So I kind of go into that prepay stuff. So when you buy a truck from us, we don't require any money down. You can order the truck today, we can do it in the 24-month term, you sign a contract, and it's ready to go. When the truck is done, you pay for it when it's all said and done. The fire department comes in, does their inspection of the truck, and they said, yep, it's exactly what we wanted, it's beautiful, we're taking it home. They sign off, give us a check. That's one way of doing it. Another way to do it is when the chassis is done, because we build our own chassis at Pierce. We build our trucks from the ground up, from bare frame rails on up. When we complete the chassis at Pierce, we can, you could pay for the chassis when it's completed, which in this case is about $450,000. And then once it's completed, you would get, or once you make that payment, we would give you a discount. In this case, the discount would be just about $13,000.
So what you'd be doing is paying for the chassis, almost half the price of the truck, about 160 days prior to the truck being done, and you would save roughly $13,000. That's an option. Another option is if you have all the money available, you can pay for it up front, and in this case, you would save about $37,000 by paying for the truck 100% up front, and get the benefit of it. And some people are concerned about paying money down. With a small builder, there's always that concern in that, what happens if the company goes out of business, we lose our money and all those kinds of things. But we do offer what's called a performance bond. In a performance bond, you can take this as basically a third-party insurance out, and at that point, your money is basically insured for the truck or the truck. Our performance bond rate is at $2.45 a thousand. So in this case, it's around $2,000 you'd pay for that insurance policy. So if you look at still the value of the prepaid discount of $37,000, $2,000 performance bond, you're still saving yourself $35,000 by paying up front. If you are going to do any prepay with any manufacturer, I'd highly recommend that you do that. There's been bad experiences here in the state in the past with small manufacturers, especially not making it till the end of the truck is built. So we can also accept any money that you want up front. So say that you guys have $250,000 or $400,000, any of that amount, and we could run you a calculation of a prepaid discount. In essence, you're going to get around a 2% rate of return right now on that money that you would give us ahead of time for the truck build, and we would figure that into the price of the truck in the contract.
So is that the only, so that is the discount? So if there was any amount that we would prepay, there's a 2% roughly?
It's roughly, and the reason I say roughly is if you run the true calculation on the chassis handling discount that we give you, that's actually at a higher rate of return than 2%.
I was gonna say.
So it kind of skews the number a little bit because we kind of roll some of that into, depending on what the amount is.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's roughly a 2% rate of return. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Which in the past, the banks, that was a great deal because the banks were giving you at 0.01 or something like that,
Yeah,
hardly
right.
anything. So that's changing a little bit right now in the marketplace.
So we kind of brought him in, just like I said, if you had any questions from financing, obviously, we're going to get 3 quotes, or hopefully anyways, hopefully get back to us. We've had a little difficulty having other manufacturers get back to us. I think it's just short staff, and I think I've also heard that, some of the smaller companies can't take the business now because they don't have enough employees, so, which is an issue as well. Maybe we need to go further outside Wisconsin, which we don't want to. We want to use local manufacturers, so. But I just wanted him, like I said, explain some of the financing options, because obviously when the board does make a decision, I don't want to hear that night, tell me the finances option. I just kind of want to, ahead of time, so you know the options.
So when those RFPs go out and they come back, will there be the different cost options?
I believe that's the way you guys would quote it, right, with the different?
Correct, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And my concern was just getting it in 2 years, and you covered that, so.
So that's if we go we don't do anything extravagant. If they can do a faster build, kind of a more cookie cutter truck, like I said, if we do something, and we're not looking to do anything extravagant, like I said, they can kind of down to about 2 years. But like I said, informative information is that if we order it January, February, March, we're still not going to get it until 2025, the earliest. And I'm not trying to pick on them, but when they say 2 years, it tends to be just sometimes a little bit longer than that as well. So that's what we've run into. Not trying to pick on you, but
Right.
that's just the way it's been industry-wide.
I've had more communities lately say that they don't want to deliver before a date. In the past, they like deliver as fast as possible.
And we could wait 3 years. I mean, that is an option, I guess, knowing that we are getting the truck. I mean, I think any insurance company would be fine with that if we were audited, knowing that we sign on the dotted line. Just different options out there for I thought it would be better for him to explain than me.
Where does the old truck go?
What's that?
Where does the old truck go?
We end up selling that on Wisconsin Surplus, so it really varies. I think Mike asked me a question before.
Yep.
Pulaski sold their ladder for $10,000 to a private citizen, and the last truck we sold was over $100,000. It really varies on the market, the truck, the right buyer. You never know what you're going to get for it.
Sure.
Economics.
So
you had mentioned some numbers before, and I am kind of curious on that growth. So a truck can you kind of give me a feel for the last, say, 3 years or 5 years, what we've seen for pricing?
Yeah. So if we go back to, of course, COVID messed with everything, inflation, supply chain, all that kind of stuff. So if we look at some of the impacts that we've had, right after COVID in 2020, most of the industry was seeing, well, a lot of industry was seeing more price increases, but we've seen about a 10% price increase in 2020. 2021, we've seen around a 10% again. This last year really spiked, and it had a lot to do with supply chains. We had, I'll give you one example, Cummins engines. Cummins engine is about $100,000, product in this truck. They went up 13.5%. So here you had one component of the truck jumped the price of the truck $14,000 on average, depending on what kind of motor was in the truck. So this year we've seen almost about a 20% price increase this year in spikes. So unfortunately, this year was about 3-4 price increases we had throughout the year. And so we already know that, most of the industry always has price increases somewhere around the first of the year, 1st February, somewhere in there. Pierce has announced that we're going to do an annual price increase February 1st. That is for sure. Luckily, this year it's not that big so far. So hope that stays on track.
When you're looking at a 2-year build
Yep.
period, do you hold that price?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, when you order with us, we will lock that price in. That's a great question. You should ask every manufacturer that. So when you lock in with us, you do lock in the price with us. And that's one of the thing that we've seen a huge surge of orders, and that's why some of our lead times are out so far, is with the scare of inflation, everyone's kind of, anxious on what's going to happen in the future. When's inflation going to settle down? We're seeing a lot of trucks being bought early and locked in now because they can lock in at current pricing and not have to pay for 3 years if they don't want to. And so that is a big thing that's happening, correct?
And kind of a closing question on that. So if I were to talk real numbers, in 2020, truck would have cost $500,000.
This truck probably would have been $200,000 less.
Okay.
Pretty scary, huh?
I'd give you an example. I sold an aerial to a local city, and we did that in April. Of course, you're talking a $1.6 million truck, and that truck was probably bought today would probably be $1.8 million just since April.
Thank you.
Yep.
The world we live in,
Yeah.
I guess.
If you don't mind, a couple other things I could talk about on the financing side of it too. We do offer financing. We do municipal leases through PNC, so that's something, if you're interested in financing, we can work with you on that. And then the other thing that we also do have a lot of municipalities purchasing off of right now is consortiums. And a consortium is basically a company called HGAC is one of them. Sourcewell is another one. There's a bunch of them out there. More than likely, northern Wisconsin is more Sourcewell orientated than anyone. But those are consortiums where they actually bid out trucks, and we have to bid a 3-year contract with them. If you buy with them, you save 1% off the truck. And granted, that's not a lot of money, but 1% is 1%. But a lot of people use that as their bidding process because, like the chief says, he's having troubles getting bids from other manufacturers. So a lot of municipalities are going to these consortiums and buying, saving 1%, and using that as their bidding process or their RFP process. And I could look that up really easy if you guys are members. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I thought Jessica was here tonight. I should have asked her if we remember or not, but.
A lot of your DPWs buy their trucks, dump trucks from it, stuff like that a lot of times. School boards buy desks and everything, pencils, chairs, right off it.
Well, it's another option, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So I think the next step is we get those RFPs back and then
correct.
introduce that to the board. I mean, we'd like to see your numbers, but not right now. We don't want to mess with the bidding process or have anybody claim there's any kind of issue with the bidding process. I appreciate your information. Thank you. Are there any other questions for the gentleman?
Like I said, so we'll make a presentation probably next month, and then kind of give you an update of where we're at. Hopefully we can get our RFPs back by then, hoping, from the other 2 manufacturers, and then kind of looking, like I said, to possibly sign in the next couple months as well, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, moving on to item number 9, discussion on future agenda items. Anyone? Anyone have any future agenda items that they would like to get on the docket? If there are none, then I would look for a motion to adjourn this evening.
And you found it.
And you found a second.
Thank you. We have a motion, assuming we have a motion from trustee Schneider to adjourn this evening's meeting and a second from trustee Romas. Are there any other questions or discussion from fellow board members?
There is not.
There is not.
All right.
Well.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carries 5-0. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.